Hello there, Commonwealth from me. In the 3D trilogy so far, that is to say Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, the focus within the canon true story has almost entirely been on Hylia, her mortal reincarnation and bloodline, the Master Sword, the artificial spirit within the blade, and the spirit of the hero. Hylia simply stood on top of the three golden goddesses in both titles, as she remained with the humans protecting the Triforce, after Din, Nehru and Furore had departed for the heavens. Then, after the goddess gave up her immortality to wield the Triforce, her bloodline of mortal, divine and royal incarnations controlled and on numerous occasions used the relic of the long-departed golden goddesses. Din, the goddess of power, Nehru, the goddess of wisdom, and Furore, the goddess of courage. But with the greater and greater emphasis on hatred, blood and spirit, it seems that the focus of the deities have been diverted towards a platonic triangle of desire, reason and spirit, which goes perfectly together with the theme of this trilogy. It is just that up to the sequel, the three golden goddesses have not been revered to the same degree as Hylia in the Era of the Wild, as the latter is the source of the sealing power of Zelda, the religion of the Hylians, and the reason why the Sheikah monks gave up their life on the surface to wait for the eventual hero in the future when sealing Calamity Ganon and Ganondorf would one day fail. You probably have guessed it by now, but the three spiritual dragons and deities have probably been sent down by, or could even be manifestations of a part of the three golden goddesses themselves. Much like Ganondorf's malice was within every guardian, blight, and the calamity that we fought, meaning that the goddesses are there, and our greatest hint towards this belief is what the dragons do after their inspection. They ascend towards the heavens much like the three golden goddesses after creating what will become Hyrule and disappear into a sky portal.
Welcome to the heavens. Since everything about the sky in the sequel screams that this is indeed the divine realm of the goddesses, from the divine golden-themed colors of the land and trees, the Shinto-inspired gates, and the equally assumed Buddhist-inspired temples in the distance. Naturally, so far, it has just been a taste of things to come, but a taste, and more so, hint that the completely optional spiritual dragons, Dinral, Naydra, and Farash, circled around the outer, still-alive provinces of Hyrule for a reason. Since the lands of the kingdom and Hylia had fallen, but not the rings surrounding it. You probably have guessed it by now, but the three spiritual dragons and deities have probably been sent down by, or could even be, manifestations of a part of the three golden goddesses themselves. Much like Ganondorf's malice was within every guardian, blight, and the calamity that we fought, meaning that the goddesses are there, and our greatest hint towards this belief is what the dragons do after their inspection. They ascend towards the heavens, much like the three golden goddesses after creating what would become Hyrule and disappear into a sky portal.
Dragons that can only be seen by children or children at heart, and the same goes with the land in the sky that is only referenced in Breath of the Wild by one child at the Woodland Stable, namely Shamay, who indicates that there's more to the sky than just clouds. I sometimes see it in my dreams. Do you think that a long time ago people lived in the sky? I think so. I want to visit the land in the sky by balloon. Then I'm going to ride a really big bird. Yep, that is my dream. This trilogy of Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, and the sequel has been hinted through non-mandatory quests and dragons who come down through a portal and return back to the heavens through a portal after an inspection of the surface, as if checking if the land they created still existed, which makes sense if these dragons are sent by or a partial manifestation of the three golden goddesses on the surface, the creators of the land, the rule of law and time, and life to uphold the two in their absence. Din, Nehru, and Furore. And now onto the big revelation that has been ignored up to this point, namely the theming of the three golden goddesses and this theory, where Din as the goddess of power, associated with the mice and later on Ganondorf with the Triforce of Power, represents the rise and curse of the forces of power in Skyward Sword. Breath of the Wild's theme of blue, wisdom, time, technology, and Sheikah shrines naturally ties to Nehru of wisdom, and the sequel's theme of life and spirits and energy from these ties to Furore of life and courage. Demise Ganondorf, Hylia Zelda, and the spirit of the hero, Link.
Demon King and their tribe from the underground, the goddess and princesses of the surface and the heroes of the sky. The princess awakens, holds and seals the calamity on the surface in Breath of the Wild, and falls following Ganondorf's awakening underground, which leaves us with one final act, the hero in the sky, the realm of spirits. Faror, but at the same time also the possible home of the two other goddesses, who have sent certain gifts to the surface in the form of blue space-time timeshift stones and their dragons as guardians, but where sadly Nehru and all wisdom is vulnerable or corruptible to the forces of power and malice, but not courage and life. With the third layer added to the mix after the surface and underground, the fall of the kingdom on the surface and the fall of the princess underground, it is time to head up to the heavens and for the golden goddesses to finally do something to save the land of their creation. That appears to be more and more likely in the sequel. Not only the power of green, but the combined powers of the golden goddesses to counter the existential threat that is Ganondorf in the castle. Even so, first the goddesses have to be reached, and they will not let Link walk straight up to them. No, they will, just like the ancient Sheikah serving Hylia, want to test his worth through a number of trials. Trials that will likely involve this automaton with a peculiar symbol which resembles a broom, but which we concluded in past theory is actually a tripal bell. Bell of the gods that we might have to reach and ring in order to be the first mortal being to come face to face with the golden goddesses. A path to deliver a plea for help from the creators as everything on the surface is falling due to Ganondorf and his malice, including the Master Sword, which can be repaired and enhanced one final time. The theme of 3 of this trilogy once again with the Master Sword, its forging and triumph over the Demon King and Skyward Sword, its weakness in Breath of the Wild, and its last chance or endgame in the sequel.
It has all been building up to this. The sword that is damaged in the realm of demons underground, restored in the sky in order to be used in the final battles on the surface. But how will it be restored? Here I also have a theory which has 2 possibilities. Either a series of 4 blessings, or 3. The first initial one from Hylia Zelda, who might or might not be still alive after that fall, then followed by the 3 golden goddesses. All to bring the sword to a golden level where it can bring an end to the Master of Malice. And this is the way we defeat the final obstacle or boss in each game of this trilogy. Starting with the mice, who's defeated by the true Master Sword, and the first hero's courage alone in Skyward Sword. Naturally, that is not the end, as he is able to cast his curse, which ultimately results in the battles against Calamity Ganon and Dark Beast Ganon in Breath of the Wild. The first is held by and the second sealed away by the awakened Zelda with the power of Goddess Hylia. Though in the case of Calamity Ganon, we can also not forget the help of the machines of Blue Beam and Wisdom in weakening Calamity Ganon. Then we have Ganondorf in the sequel. With an even greater threat, we might need more than just the Master Sword and even the Light of Hylia to bring an end to this curse once and for all. We need the aid of the creators, and not only through the Triforce that they left behind, but the first direct involvement in the greatest conflict between good and evil ever. An act that naturally the highest deities of all in the Zelda series will be reluctant to provide until Link conquers their obstacles and trials, aka the servants in the sky and their temples. Link as the last Hylian knight who witnessed the fall of the kingdom he served for nearly all of his life, and the princess, the last remnant successor of said kingdom who has now fallen down. And he will overcome another obstacle to ring the Bell of the Gods, just like the Hero of Winds did in the Wind Waker, after overcoming his trials at the Tower of the Gods. But in this case, instead of one tower, there might be 3 massive temples separated in each of the sky's 3 corners, together forming a Triforce shape, just like we saw with the orbs in the Wind Waker. Where we start in the center and face the light of Hylia or Zelda and make our way towards Din in the north, Nehru in the southwest, and most importantly for the sequel, Faror in the southeast. A long and dangerous quest which will force us to master all 3 layers this game throws at us, in order to show our worth to the creators of everything divine in the Zelda series.
Ending with the Triforce, the relic that in the past has restored the dead back to life and concluded the kingdom and original Hyrule sealed under the Great Sea and Lorule by restoring its lost Triforce. Unlike Hylia, they might not only demand from us to just conquer the lands of the surface, but also the underground where Zelda remained, and their domain, the sky, from now on addressed as the heavens. That is what the Triforce was for, so they could stay in their realm away from the mortals. Only by overcoming this set of trials will they do something about Link's blade and perhaps even join the fight on the ground. Much like the 4 divine beasts joined together to weaken Calamity Ganon. The goddesses could come in at the beginning of the battle, but it would be more poetic for them to finish the fight. That is to say, after Link with the Master Sword brings Ganondorf, just like Dark Beast Ganon, down to his knees.
The deed is introduced in the first 3D Zelda game and which have been key to the series ever since 1998. A combined force in the sequel of combinations 25 years later that will bring the decisive downfall of Ganondorf and more so the Miser's Curse. 25 years after we were first introduced to the humanoid form of Ganon, the Gerudo King Ganondorf. Well, this might be it for him and the original Demon King's curse, all thanks to Link, Zelda and the goddesses in the heavens in the 20th Zelda game. But first, Link needs to reach them in this new divine realm, and that might very well be the quest of the sequel of Trinities. But what do you think about the great divine mystery and potential of the sky and the golden goddesses that more and more likely reside there in the heavens? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, be sure to share this video and leave a like plus subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any other Zelda theories like this one. Less than 3,000 left to 300,000 subscribers, and I really want to get there by my 30th birthday on June 13 to also unlock our Switch OLED Plus game giveaway. As always, a big thanks goes to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/CommonRun patrons, and in particular our royal producer Charles Shesh. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.